नमस्कार, रेड टेलिभिजन हेरेर बस्नुहुने तपाईं सम्पूर्णलाई कार्यक्रम द इन्स्पाइरिङ स्टोरिजमा स्वागत गर्छु। म ममिता भण्डारी। कार्यक्रम इन्स्पाइरिङ स्टोरिजमा हामीले समाजमा काम गरिरहेका विभिन्न व्यक्तित्वहरू जसले धेरै जनालाई आफ्नो कामले प्रेरित गर्नुभएको छ, धेरै जनाको उत्प्रेरणाका स्रोत हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँहरूसँग उहाँहरूको जीवनका भोगाई, सफलता, अनुभव र सिकाइका बारेमा कुराकानी गर्ने गर्दछौँ। र आज पनि हामीसँग एकजना त्यस्तै व्यक्तित्व हुनुहुन्छ जसले समग्र विश्वमा आफ्नो सिकाइहरूले चाहिँ प्रभाव पार्नु भएको छ, धेरै जनाको प्रेरणाको स्रोत बन्नुभएको हुन्छ। उहाँ हुनुहुन्छ एक्टर हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँ डाइरेक्टर हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँ लेखक हुनुहुन्छ र अहिले धेरै जनालाई धेरै कुराहरू एक्टिङ र थिएटरका बारेमा सिकाइरहनु भएको छ। उहाँको बारेमा भन्नुभन्दा पहिला आउनुहोस् हेरौँ उहाँको बारेमा छोटो इन्ट्रोडक्सन भिडियो।
कला, साहित्य, अभिनय, नृत्य, सङ्गीत, मनोरञ्जन कुनै पनि देश र सिमानामा सीमित हुँदैन। तर कला, साहित्य, अभिनय जस्ता कुराहरूमा सफल हुन चाहिन्छ अथाह मेहनत, समर्पण र लगाव। भनिन्छ असफलताहरू नै सफलताको बाटाहरू हुन्। एउटा मानिसले सफल हुनका लागि धेरै असफलताहरूको सामना गर्नुपर्छ। आत्मविश्वास, कडा मेहनत, सही मार्ग निर्देशन, अथाह प्रयास जस्ता अनेक मापकहरू एउटा मानिसमा हुनुपर्दछ सफल हुन। सफल हुन चाहिने अर्को सबैभन्दा ठूलो गहना हो आत्मविश्वास। आफूमा विश्वास नगरिकन मानिसले जीवनमा धेरै अगाडि बढ्न सक्दैन। म भित्र आत्मबल, साहस र शक्ति कति छ भनेर जान्नका लागि आफूलाई जाँच्नुपर्छ, आफूतिर फर्केर हेर्नुपर्छ। आफ्नो मेहनत, साहस, शक्ति र आफ्नो अभिनयले संसारभर आफ्नो नाम राखी हलिउडमा आफ्नो छुट्टै पहिचान बनाउन सफल नाम हो लिजा लभिङ डाल्टन। उहाँ चर्चित हलिउड अभिनेत्री, निर्देशक, निर्माता, स्टन्ट वुमेन र माइकल चेकअफको अभिनय प्रविधिकी स्टेज अभ्यासकर्ता हुनुहुन्छ। लिजाले 200 भन्दा बढी चलचित्रहरू, टेलिभिजन कार्यक्रमहरू र विज्ञापनहरूमा एक अभिनेत्रीको रूपमा काम गरिसक्नु भएको छ र उहाँ स्वतन्त्र कथा र वृत्तचित्र फिल्महरूको पुरस्कार विजेता, निर्देशक, निर्माता समेत हुनुहुन्छ।
तपाईले भर्खरै मात्रै भिडियोमा हेरेर थाहा पाइसक्नु भएको छ आजका मेरी अतिथि हुनुहुन्छ लिजा लभिङ डाल्टन। आउनुहोस् उहाँलाई स्वागत गरौँ। नमस्कार म्याम, वेलकम टु द शो।
Namaste, Misty. Thank you for having me.
We are very grateful to have you here. So ma'am, before asking anything, I would like to say we all respect you a lot and congratulations for reaching on the top of your career and inspiring millions of people from all over the globe.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am, before asking anything, we would like to know about your childhood days and how was your childhood, how you grew up and all these things.
Well, I grew up as the fourth of 5 children, and I was very clumsy, and I fell down a lot, and I was very athletic, and I was probably pretty desperate for attention, which I think is where my acting career kind of started. But I had a family that was very supportive of the arts, and so I was very lucky in that way.
So we can say because of your family support, you are here at the top of your career, inspiring so many people.
Yes, yes.
So ma'am, what is your everyday schedule look like? Because you are traveling a lot, teaching people a lot, everywhere teaching and doing so many stuff at the same time, maintaining yourself like all the time gorgeous, and how it is possible?
Well, I have dedicated my life to bringing Michael Chekhov's work to the world, and so I do. And also because of my career, I sustained many injuries because I fell down a lot. And so I need to prioritize my health. I eat very carefully and I do yoga every day. And I have certain exercise classes that I do. I meditate and have a strong community of friends who help me laugh and have a lot of fun. I like to hike and ride my motorcycle, and I love to do a lot of volunteer work. So I'm living in Texas right now, near Dallas in Fort Worth. And there I work with the Live Theater League, which is a group of the leaders of 20 different theaters. So we all try to support each other. I also work with the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. So I am on the board of directors for what we call SAG-AFTRA in the Dallas-Fort Worth local. So I help support our film and television community and offer them classes and leadership skills. Lots of different areas of my life.
So many energies and so many areas. Ma'am, like so many people know you. You are very known as an actress and director or author. So if you have to choose any specific title for you, what do you prefer?
I think teaching is the special part of my heart. I realize that when I am acting on film or on stage or I'm directing, that I am very often doing that job and I'm thinking, part of me is thinking, how can I learn something that I can teach later? What am I learning here? What lessons can I gain that I can share with my students later? And I feel that the strength of my teaching is very much what I tend to write about. I do write poetry. I love to write poetry and random essays and photography. But even in my poems, I'm trying to teach a lesson.
Teach you all the time.
Yes, so I think that the major through line of my life, even in my acting, I want to tell a story that teaches the audience something.
So yeah, so you are here in Nepal also for the teaching purpose. You are teaching so many people about the theater, about the acting. Ma'am, let's talk about your initial career days. So how you jump into the acting, and for being a Russian American, how you made it to the Hollywood.
Okay, so I'm not Russian American. I work with a Russian technique that came to America, and so I think I was probably Russian in a past life.
So do you believe in past life?
Yes, I do, and I think I definitely was Russian at one point, and but I started just wanting to tell stories and acting in elementary school and in high school, where I started directing. And when I went to college, I really was thinking of directing. But I felt I needed to learn acting in order to be a good director. And I was successful in New York with a theater company for 4 years, doing very radical avant-garde theater, clown, mime, juggling, circus arts, and political theater in the streets. And we were also a teaching company, so we taught in schools those arts. But at a certain point, fell in love, I got married, and the company started traveling overseas, and I didn't want to do that with my husband. My husband couldn't go with me, so I wanted to be with him. So that was when I started focusing really on my film career. And I had the opportunity to do stunts. And when I started doing stunts, the film work was conflicting with my theater work. So I left the theater company. And then when I had a break in the film work, I had nothing to do. And I responded to an audition where the director then taught me Michael Chekhov's work. And that changed my whole life. So from that moment on in 1980, I just became focused on learning that technique, which finally actually helped me be a good actress and a much better actor, much better director, writer, teacher.
Obviously, we will talk about the Michael checkup techniques about later, but you said like you leave theater for your Hollywood career or for film, so and you got leisure time in between. So how did you manage that time for your mental health and so many things? Because so many women or so many people who wanted to become an actor or artist, and when they didn't got any project and leisure time, they got frustrated and
Yes.
they some leave their career or they change their career path. So how did you manage and how did you take care of your mental health at the time?
So that's a very good question, Misty, because especially in college, it was a very difficult time for me. I was not successful in the theater department. I was not successful in my personal life. I suffered a lot of low self-esteem. I was in a very difficult, abusive relationship, and I was treated very badly by the student community, and so it was mentally and emotionally a very bad time. The thing that helped me climb out of it really comes down to love. It's about finding what you love, and I think finding a spiritual core. I had such low self-esteem. I lived with an abusive alcoholic who hit me and had to be rescued by the police and things like that. And I didn't think much of myself. But somehow, when I got on the stage, I could feel real. It's kind of weird, but acting, I could feel more real, more powerful. And it was really finding this work where his work is centered on love and understanding your role as an artist, that I was not trying to be an artist because I was trying to be famous and wanted to be a show-off. I have gifts to give, and the artist really is bringing spirit into the world and making it manifest. And when the artist does that, the culture is changed. And this gave me a feeling of that I am worthy. And then I had to learn to remove myself from every person who was not going to support that. If they did not support the idea that I am worthy and that my art is worthy, they have to be removed from my life.
Exactly, like in this era of glam light everywhere, people be like, we need to be successful all the time, and especially in the entertainment or film or in acting career, people are ready to face everything, every views or anything just to get successful. So what do we need to do at that time? Because you have more than 50 years of experience in career and so many things. What would you like to suggest those people to save themselves from these abuses and still they can make their career bright?
Yes, always be in a position to create your own opportunities and have a clear boundary for what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. So that's really important to know. I will do this, that I will not, and say, if saying no to this opportunity means you don't get that, you don't get to meet those people, you don't get to work with those people, and you think, oh no, I have to say yes even though I don't want to, because if I don't, they won't like me, they won't blah blah blah. And this is where you really need faith to say, it doesn't align with my core power, spirit being. of who I am. And if my path is to bring this art or whatever it is that I'm doing, whatever you're doing, whatever a person is doing, if it's their path to do it, then when they say no, another door will open. Every no narrows and gets you onto the right path. Like driving in the streets of Kathmandu, every once in a while you come to a traffic jam or construction that says no, and it sends you onto another path, which will be a yes.
So it means having a faith with yourself and being spiritual awakening will help you to lead to the path where you need to be.
Yes.
It is true.
Yes, that is true.
So talking about again, so many people know you as the Michael Checkup Techniques teacher.
Yes.
You are traveling all around the globe, teaching students and so many people around his technique. So what it is actually about?
So the technique is about finding the artist that is inside and the talent that lives inside, and training the body, the movement process, the imagination, and your highest spirit to work together so that you can open up all the pathways to expression. So there's an idea that you have inside near your heart, like the power of the sun. And inside is a little seed which you, through your imagination, can grow. And you can bring that power out into the world. And when you do that, the audience can feel it. And that sun kind of makes you shine like a star. So we say, oh, you have star quality when that is shining. And so we learn to be able to change our physical body very powerfully. And we learn to do that through the imagination. And we learn to do that through very strong concentration. Learning how to concentrate, very strong focus, and being able to get great ideas, how to get interesting characters, find exciting stories, and how to express them in unique ways so that each character you play is a special creation. And we learn special laws or principles that help us make decisions. When we train ourselves to get so many ideas, then which do we choose? We need a special set of principles, almost like science, to use to say, okay, pick this way, this is how you make decisions. So we train a very effective decision-making process, and we train a body, mind, spirit process. We train in the system of understanding story structure and putting that all together in a very powerful way that uses what we call tangible, things you can touch and do, and intangible. So moving energy like the aura. Like each person has an energy field, an auric field, and science can now take pictures of that, right? So your aura is different than my aura. So my character's aura would be different. So I need to be able to change my aura to match that character, right? And that happens through my imagination. But it's felt by the audience. They feel me as a very different kind of human being that is just not the same person as I was a few minutes ago. And maybe that is obvious to you, maybe it's not, I don't know. I don't know. Right?
That's so amazing. Like, I just want to see your expressions and your speaking. So can we say that the Michael Checkup technique is all about finding the energy which is the gap between the galaxies of our body, taking energies from within and spreading to all over our audiences. Is it true?
Yes, it is true. It's a system of energy management. Can I show this chart?
Yes, sure.
So this chart has this state of inspiration. That's that center of the sun. And all of these are energy management systems. So some people know the idea of the zone or peak experience or it's happening. And when we're in that peak flow, all these energies are happening at one time. And when we're not, very often it's because there's some kind of break in the energy connection. It's like getting good reception. We have up in our imagination like our own little iCloud of images. And through these, we can, this is like generating our own Wi-Fi system. We create a contact to the world.
Within our body to the universe?
Yes, yes. And then we can bring the universe down to us. And we can imagine we can connect with stars. We can connect with characters. Mr. Chekhov suggests that the characters live up there. Like Hamlet lives up there. Parvati lives up there. And we can, in our imagination, just concentrate, meditate, and invite the character to come and appear before us. And we can have a conversation. We can sit like you and I are. Or we can travel up, like in Star Trek, beam me up. And we can go up to their world. And we can walk around their world.
Through our imagination?
Through our imagination. And then, whatever we bring back to the earth to give to the audience, our body needs to be able to express.
Okay, so how a person can make their career better through the imaginations or through the spiritual knowledge, how we can connect these things with our daily life, not only in the theater, not only in the acting.
So one of my favorite sets of tools on that chart is called the Four Brothers of Art. And this is a group, a family of ideas. He calls them a feeling of beauty, a feeling of ease, a feeling of entirety, and a feeling of the form. So he asks us to cultivate our awareness of beauty. We do this every day as we move through our life. We can look at anything that we think is ugly and look at it a new way and say, that's beautiful. I have an opportunity to look at something that maybe it's the form, it's the shape of things that I look at. Oh, the shape of the traffic. Ooh, is that ugly or is that beautiful? If I see the form of the traffic as ugly, I get uneasy and I get nervous. And every 5 minutes that I spend in a state of frustration lowers my immune system for over 6 hours. 6 hours.
For the minutes.
For 5 minutes of I lower my immune system for 6 hours. But I take that same 5 minutes and I think, look at this traffic. It's beautiful. This traffic is perfect. I am safe right where I am. I'm in good company. And I'm seeing things I've never seen before. So I can be at ease. And instead of lowering my immune system, 5 minutes of appreciating beauty boosts it for over 6 hours. So that's 12 hours of health difference. The more we can practice seeing the beauty of things and cultivate a feeling of ease and a feeling of wholeness. For example, when things are not done completely, you're in the middle of a conversation on your phone and the phone cuts off and you didn't finish the conversation, you get uneasy. Even if you were just going to say goodbye, you call them back, hi, just saying goodbye. to bring wholeness to you. But sometimes you can't. And so if you want to be uneasy, you can. But if you say, okay, it was perfect, we go from there. And the first lesson that I teach in the class is that we can make mistakes and we can say they're perfect. And when we do that, we are much less self-critical. And when we are less critical of ourselves, we're less critical of other people. We're able to appreciate our mistakes as not a mistake, but it's something other than what I meant. I didn't mean that, I meant something else, but it's perfect. And then when you make a mistake, I can say, you know what, it's perfect. So I can get along better with people. I'm more at ease when I recognize the beauty. I maintain my feeling of ease. I perceive a sense of wholeness or entirety, and that is the shape of the form. So it's beauty, ease, entirety, and form. It spells beef, B-E-E-F.
Beef.
Beef. So when things are not going well in your life, everyday life, you can ask, where's the beef? Where is your beef? Where is your beauty? Where is your ease? Where is your entirety? And where is your form? And that will change your whole view of life.
That's so inspiring. Like, we can think in that way too. Because as you women, we have a habit to criticize on every little things. And we get very frustrated in every little things in our daily life. So ma'am, I think after this conversation, after hearing this, all the steps, now I think like that the spiritual awakening person in the field of acting can be a better person, the better actor, because they can feel better and they can heal better themselves from their traumas or so many things. So basically it's all about the Michael Chekhov techniques, right?
Michael Chekhov himself was born in 1891 in Russia, in St. Petersburg area. And he had a very crazy father who was dangerous to him. He was very brilliant. His father was the older brother of the famous Russian writer Anton Chekhov. So Anton Chekhov is the uncle. And the uncle of Michael Chekhov, Anton Chekhov, created a way of writing that for plays that was an ensemble, and that changed the way performing was done. Michael Chekhov eventually became a member of that group, the Moscow Art Theater. But he went through he was always terrified because his father would get drunk and would do crazy things. And so he went into the field of imagination to save himself. And when he became very famous, very, very famous, sometimes his curtain calls, his applause, would be 4 hours long. And the Russian people adored him. But it was in the middle of the Soviet Revolution, and he himself went crazy. He started laughing on the stage in the middle of the play, walked off, and didn't come back for a year because his mental health was so bad from the abuse, from how could he be adored, honored, respected so much while people were killing themselves over a loaf of bread. And it was a deep spiritual crisis. And it was discovering a deep core spiritual force that helped him come out of his insanity. And that's where he really began to work the power of spirit into the acting technique.
Okay, so many people like from all over the world are getting trained by you and so many your fellow friends. So ma'am, so how it feels to teach people about these techniques, like from the young to the older people, and you came Nepal and you teach Nepali people and so many Indian people as well. So how it feels to teaching about these techniques?
It's such a joy. I was in a lot of pain before I knew these techniques, and for me to be able to bring them to people to help see their pain melt away and see the surprise in their souls, in their spirits, and it's just an honor. You know, it's I just try to open myself up to receive inspiration from my ancestors of Michael Chekhov and my teachers who studied with him, and my colleagues who, as you said, are teaching all over the world. And it's we're working to support each other to be able to bring our particular expressions, and we each express it differently, and we each want to respect each different teacher's approach.
So I asked one of your fellow students how it feels to learn by her, and she said, it feels amazing. I feel blessed because I am learning so many new things, so many new techniques and all. And I think that's your power too, because you are teaching them very nicely. And like we said earlier, we see so many people and falling for the darkness because they are not getting right chance or right character or so many things. So
Yes.
how can we save them? And I read your book, review about your book, The Murder of the Talent. You include some of the dark phases of entertainment industries. So for the new generation who are coming into the acting or anything like teaching in the field of entertainment, how can we teach them to be safe, and how can we not them to go into the darkness?
Yes, thank you. I wrote Murder of Talents to help people. So one, read the book. Because it's 200 pages of my answer to this question.
Okay.
But seriously, the understanding that the field of entertainment, of storytelling, goes back to the deepest caves, to the earliest times of humanity. And it came as part of a way to unite the tribes and to pass the history and to learn the experiences and the worlds of others. That awakens compassion. To think that you are, if you understand that when you love it, the love is something that you were born with. It did not just appear because one day somebody said, bingo, Misty, you're going to love this. It happened because somewhere in your genetics, somewhere in your ancestral line, and somewhere in your spiritual karma is this love. This love has grown and built inside of you. And that love is your talent. So if you know you love it, then you can really be empowered by accepting that you then have the talent. If you don't worry about whether or not you have the talent, the next step is creating opportunity. And the talent, when you use your talent through love, you can play very evil characters that the audience loves. We love to hate the evil character.
Yes.
Right? We love to root for the
The
good
hate is
person.
also the love.
That's
character
right.
are bringing the hate.
Yes, yes. And so Michael Chekhov suggests every actor should love their character, and we do love them. And so some actors take the approach that their characters are bad, and they try to find bad in themselves and try to use their own negative energies. And this is very psychologically and physically dangerous. So anytime any director or acting teacher suggests that you should do harm to yourself psychologically, you need to say no. And you need to walk away. You need to be willing to say, no, I won't do this. Because the artist, the athlete, the musician should be given creative opportunity to grow and should not be abused, should not be humiliated, should not be told that they are. I was told that I was untalented. I was told I would never be funny. I was told that I would never be a successful actor. But I made my living for 30 years as a comedian and on camera. So those people were wrong. But it took me a while to understand that they were wrong. In the beginning, I believed them. So many of the famous people I've worked with were also told, you'll never make it as an actor. And yet, they became very successful. So stay with it. Believe in yourself. Say no to those who do not treat you well. Do not accept abuse. Live your love.
So what can we do when we are confused? When we don't know it's right for us or not, sometimes we get confused. It is abuse or support, or I can go for it or not. So how can we choose that?
Yes, I think that's in your heart. I think the mind is where the worry, the monkey mind worry lives. And it says, if I don't choose it, I will not, my career will never happen. Do you know the TV series Friends? The actress who played Phoebe, she was fired from a show before that. She got fired from another show. If she hadn't been fired, she never would have gotten Friends. So getting fired from that TV show enabled her to become Phoebe.
So failure can lead you to the success, is it?
That's correct. She was on Frasier, the TV show Frasier, and she got fired from it. And then she wound up on Friends. So it's a perfect example of realizing that a no leads you to a yes.
It's nice, because so many, especially young people, get confused. If I miss that opportunities, I will not get selected again, or I will not even be ready to face that thing again. And this kind of confusion is happening in these days, especially because the world is become very competitive. Everything is very competitive, and the younger people have that competitive. They need to face the competitive world. So
Yes.
they are more confused. And after hearing your words, they get very inspired, I'm sure. Because sometimes we need to know what we need to do and what part we need to do. So we get confused and we get suggestions from the people like you, who is very well experienced and faced so many things in life, who is teaching so many things. So if you have to suggest to young people to become the successful or anything, what is your suggestion for them?
I think the number one quality you want to develop is the quality of self-discipline. To identify your goals, to look at the steps to prepare yourself. We have in our teaching a thing called PASS: preparation, action, sustain, and stop. So you need to prepare yourself, which is what do you need to do to train, to build your resume, to get your experience, and then deliver on the action. If you just try to jump out and get a job in that field, but you're not prepared, you won't succeed. And then once you start moving toward it in the action, you have to stay with it, persevere. And that perseverance is the sustaining. Prepare, act, sustain. And then stop, rest, take a break, play. Because the more fun you have in life, the more joy you bring into life, the more creativity you'll bring to your work. And our careers are, they talk about nepotism, right? Nepotism, as many people are frustrated by nepotism. But nepotism will only get your foot in the door, right? You have to keep the door open. You have to walk through the door. You have to deliver. And so if you are, they say it's who you know. But it's not who you know. It's who knows you and likes you. Because if people know you and they don't like you, they won't help you. So you have an opportunity to create relationships, which is where your career and your life is most rewarding. Creating relationships. How do you create relationships? You create it with open-heartedness, with being easy to be around, with being reliable and dependable. Show up on time, come prepared, be prepared for things to go differently than you planned, and follow through. When you create a relationship, follow through. Reach out to those people. If you do take that one job you think you shouldn't, or maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't, you take it because you're afraid if you don't. It's only going to get you to the next step if you create really good relationships there. If it turns out to be a disaster, it's not going to help you move forward. So you want to be able to create relationships and strengthen existing ones, and that requires self-discipline.
So one thing I like the most is what you said, just it's not about who know you, like it's about who likes you.
Yeah.
And that matters.
Yes.
That matters a lot. So ma'am, we are our end time. We're at the end. So we have the segment Q&A sessions. So I will ask you questions and you have to answer in one word.
Okay.
So it's a Q&A sessions. And what is acting for you?
Freedom.
So if you have to identify yourself, except taking your name and tag, what would you like to identify yourself? You cannot take your name and your tag.
Badass.
Okay, so what is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is going crazy.
Okay, so what do you love most about yourself?
Humor.
Nice. If you have the power to change one thing from this world, what it is?
Materialism.
So how do you consider failure?
Opportunity.
So success?
Reward.
So what is life for you?
Spirit.
Love?
Joy.
Friendship?
Connection.
So one sentence that you always have in your mind.
I'm always safe in time and space.
Nice. So okay, we are almost done. Who inspired you the most?
Michael Chekhov.
That's why we are talking about it.
Yes.
Okay. But that answer was expected. Because you are teaching these things from so many people.
But I will say my mother was a great inspiration. Both my parents, but my mother's strength.
So, what are your dreams now?
To continue teaching around the world, to publish more books on the subject. This book, Michael Chekhov Technique Playbook, I'm expanding it into 5 books. So creating much more detail with that. So my dreams would be to complete that so more information can be available.
That's so inspiring, and best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, we are at the end. We would like you to request to deliver your third message to the audience.
My special message to the audience for this show. Acknowledge what you love and find a way to bring it to the world. Because when you do, and you bring what you love to the world grows and heals. And if we can honor each other, honor all genders, all races, all creeds, all belief systems, all ethnicities, to honor the sacredness of our individuality, we could bring a greater love and peace to this world.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I had a great conversation with you. I loved the entire conversations and I feel very grateful to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Misty, and thank you to everybody who's made this possible.
Thank you. तपाईले भर्खरै मात्रै हामीले लिजा लभिङ डाल्टनसँग गरेका कुराकानीहरू हेर्नुभयो। उहाँले आफ्नो जीवनको भोगाई, सफलता र अनुभव सिकाइका बारेमा आफ्ना कुराहरू शेयर गर्नुभएको छ। अर्को हप्ता अर्को नयाँ अतिथिका साथमा उपस्थित हुने नै छौं। तबसम्म मलाई र मेरो एन्टायर टिमलाई बिदा दिनुहोस्। नमस्कार। हेर्दै गर्नुहोला रेड टेलिभिजन HD।